Welcome. I'll call the meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. This is the September 13th, 2023 meeting of the Berlin Zoning Board of Appeals. It is being held by a Zoom webinar. Panelists and attendees are advised that their image, voice, and telephone number may be recorded for the record. Let me introduce the members of the board. As I call your name, please raise your hand and say present. Jim Roya,
Present.
Denny Bartlett,
Present.
Pat Jackson.
Present.
Ginny isn't with us. Susanna.
Present.
Keith Susie.
Present.
And the administrative assistant for inspection and land use boards, Leanne Leahy.
Present.
And I'm Lynn Ryan. Okay, so according to the agenda, we have the past minutes.
From July 12th minutes.
Does anyone care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of the July 12th meeting as written.
A second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. We have to do by roll call. So Denny,
Aye.
Keith,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Susanna,
Aye.
Pat.
Aye.
Okay, communications. Do we have any communications?
The only thing that came in are the two applications for hearings for next month, which I forwarded to the board. One is for 107 Coburn Road special permit, and the other is, I think, 339 Old Central.
Yes.
For a car wash at the corner of Old Central and Gates Pond Road.
Yeah, repeal of the building commissioner's decision.
Just determination, yeah.
Susanna, did you attend last night's planning board meeting?
Yes, I did.
Was there anything of interest for us?
The reason I attended was they had emailed me with a question on what I knew about spot zoning. And so I attended for that. It was the new owners of Spooky World wanted to rezone one parcel, and they withdrew that request at that meeting, so it's no longer an issue. They are writing up some sort of regulations for LED signs for the town. So this is a spin-off of the sign issues that had come before us for the
School. For the school?
Yes. Okay. You guys freeze up. So I don't know how. Somebody text me if I get frozen, please. And I think that was that it? I think
There's
so.
no town meeting planned for this fall, I take it.
December. They talked about December or January, and Eloise asked for it to be December because in January they'll start ramping up for the presidential primaries. Oh, there was one other thing that pertains to us. Our zoning bylaws currently talk about a multi-family housing zone, but we don't have one on our map. So they're talking about removing that as an article on the next meeting, town meeting.
Just removing the definition or whatever?
I think it's R4 maybe? I'm not sure, but it's in the table. I think it's in the table of uses. We can swing back to it. I don't want to take up time.
No, that's okay. But I think it would be well if it was in the table of uses and said no in all of the districts.
Okay, that may be something you would like to take up with planning board.
Yep.
Because their inclination per the meeting that I was listening to was they would rather have that approved via overlay district than to have an actual district for it.
Interesting. Okay, then I have a project for you, Jim, if you would. You're the one who's good at looking things up in the Registry of Deeds. This 107 Coben Road that's coming before us, they're going to make it a new, or the building commissioner considers it a new application because theirs had expired. There were three in 2011, actually 2011-4, 5, and 6 was a site plan, a special permit, and a variance issued to them. And I'd like to see if they recorded any of those. I don't know
Okay.
if I mentioned last time, but there's a little problem going on with, well, Ellie has told me that people aren't filing the original signed permit with the Registry of Deeds, and they won't accept it. It happened with the garage for Mary. I can never tell you her last name.
Porter.
Oh,
Mary
yes.
Porter.
She went to register her variance, and she did not have the original. So if you think of it, remind me to tell the folks they have to go back to the town clerk after 20 days and get the original to go to the Registry of Deeds. Was there anything else I had? Oh, Pat, you might want to pass this on to Jenny.
Okay.
She's the one of us that is due for renewal this
All right.
November. So we can put that on the agenda for October to vote her in, but I didn't want to blindside her.
Okey-doke.
And Leanne's going to check on the ethics. Does anybody know that they're up for ethics?
I think I'm
probably
good.
am.
Okay. But Leanne can check and see who's up for ethics, because
I know the last
that's
time I went to do it, the website was down, and then I just never got around to it again.
okay. Well, if you have the time, I know it's a busy season with, fall harvest and stuff, but we need to keep that up to date. I'm trying to think who was telling me in another town, they challenged one of the decision based on the facts that people weren't up to date on their ethics training. I don't know how that turned out, but if the people voted and weren't up to date on their ethics training. I've asked Leanne to put a note in the minutes for tonight that that the August meeting was canceled, just so if we're looking later on, we can find out what's going on. If we can look back in the minutes if we're looking for something. Okay, does anybody have anything else?
I just have a quick question on this proposal, or this thing that's coming to us next month on Old Central Street there. I was under the impression that lot was bought by the guys who own that gas station there, and that was going to be part of their expansion.
That's not my understanding. This is a different party.
That might have been the intent, but Mr. Benacasa bought the lot. And my understanding was that they originally had wanted to do that aging in place type facility that they had wanted to do on River Road. And then found out that it can't be done there either. So now they've decided on a car wash.
This, all we need to deal with next month, as far as they're concerned, is obviously the question as to whether or not they're a service establishment. They're claiming they're a service establishment. And, personally, I think there's two issues, but I don't think the most recent letter, although there was a previous letter from the building inspector that mentioned it. Their high water use. And a car wash is not specifically listed in the bylaw. And the building inspector determined them to be high water use. So now they've come back and decided that if they put a detailing station in there, they can be considered a service establishment, which would be allowed. Well, fortunately, I don't know, a couple of years ago, Susanna worked with the planning board and developed a definition. And a couple of very important, it's amazing, you know, because I even wrote Tim Wheeler a note and said, you know, this is why these definitions are important. Before then, there was no definition of a service establishment. So, you know, you're wide open. The one we have now, if you read it in the back of the book, was well crafted, Susanna, because it says it has to be the primary use. And
Yes.
it likens it to several things. It doesn't limit it to
Oh,
several
you
things.
guys
but it-
froze again. Damn it.
Why don't you turn off your camera, Susanna, and see if it helps your transmission?
Let me see. Let me try that. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, so you heard me mumbling. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, but you have to repeat the question because I didn't hear it. I just heard that I was writing a definition.
No, I'm just saying that it's a good thing we have it, and it was on your initiative.
Oh, yes, because I was
And
having
it-
trouble with the definitions for home-based contracting business, and it kind of expanded from there.
Yes, but without this definition, we would be hard put to be able to define what a service establishment is. So kudos to Susanna. Does
Thank you.
anybody have anything else, or shall we have a reasonably easy night? I mean, we've been on here for all of 15 minutes.
I move we close the meeting.
Second that.
Okay, there's a motion, a second to adjourn. Roll call vote unless anyone has any other input. Pat,
You're on mute.
Susanna,
Yes.
Denny,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Heath,
Aye.
I'm an aye, and Pat, did you chime in or not?
Yeah, it's going in and out. Yes.
Okay,
Gone
all right,
again.
we can